Good morning. It's Boston has entered the chat. Thursday, June 12th. Welcome to the show where we react to what you guys are talking about in your group chat, live inside the Salem 5 studios. George Balekji, Travis Thomas. Great day to be on the chat today. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. You know I love Friday Eve. Anything close to Friday, I turn up. They're talking about it's hump day. I'm like, no, we're just closer to Friday. Today, it's Friday Eve, Thirsty Thursday, baby. Let's go.
You get me every time with the Friday Eve.
Yeah,
I go, wait, it's Friday? And then you throw in the Eve, and I come down a little bit.
Friday Eve.
But we got a good party for you guys over the next hour right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. We'll be going through certain Celtics on the trade block, reports coming out. Jaylen Brown finally undergoing knee surgery.
Yep.
Marcelo Mayer making an impact. And Steve Perrault of Section 10, he stops by. Talk Red Sox with us as well. Let's start with Jaylen Brown. Has undergone successful arthroscopic knee surgery, will be ready for training camp per the Boston Celtics. We were wondering what his offseason will look like, what the timeline will look like. He's expected to be ready in 2025, and the Celtics added in their press release, Trav, no limitations in training camp. That's significant for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, it's significant. It's significant that the timing of this, too, because you and I have sort of, put on our tinfoil hats and thrown this around, but it's like, hey, if they wanted to tank next season and not call it tanking, they could just say, hey, Jaylen, take your time, man. Get your surgery whenever you're ready. No rush. In fact, if you want to wait till later in the summer or closer to the season, go for it. Because that would indicate to all of us that he's not playing next season. And even if he were to come back, if the timeline were pushed back, George, if he were to come back, the time it takes to recover from this, by the time he did all of that, this team could be out of contention anyway. And they say, you know what, just shut it down, and we'll have you and Tatum come back healthy next season. The fact that that didn't happen, the fact that it did happen now, the fact that, let's give Jaylen Brown some props here, because he told us weeks ago, he said, I'm going to take some mental time, and then I'm going to get my surgery. And we were both, again, tinfoil hat, but we were both like, well, maybe. No, that was true. So he'll be ready to go, and that tells me they're going for it next year. Will they win a championship without Jason Tatum? Not likely. Will they be a playoff team without Jason Tatum? Yeah. If Jaylen Brown's healthy and leading the way, I think they will be.
This is two avenues for me with Jaylen Brown and his timeline. He made the right choice because he gets back to 100% sooner rather than later. And the Celtics, for him, they say no limitations at training camp. We'll see. But they have Jaylen Brown back in the fold, leading that team. And again, they will be contending for the postseason with or without Jason Tatum. The other avenue, though, and this is a smart move by Jaylen Brown himself and for the Celtics, he gets his surgery. They announce, hey, no limitations in training camp. His trade value is back to being its maximized self. Because if this was a guy that would not be ready, let's say January, teams trading or inquiring will be like, well, you'll get less of a return. And maybe teams that are closer to contending wouldn't want him either. But Jaylen Brown at 100%, that maximizes his value for the Celtics. It's best for the team rebuilding. You know where I stand. Don't trade him. I want to hold on to him. It would have to be an unbelievable offer to even consider it. He's not even 28 years old, and he's a top 20 player in the league and an elite wing and a leader. And everything he's done.
A closer.
Exactly. But for teams wanting to trade for him, there's no questions of what his timeline is and the player he'll be. He'll be back for the start of next season.
I almost think it's Tatum, Brown, and Derek White as the big three.
Yeah.
And then everyone else can get dealt. And I love it. I'm not saying that from like a place of, where I'm like, oh, whatever, good riddance. Like, I appreciate all these guys for what the joy they gave us just a year ago. But this is a business. And if that's my core, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, and then I fill in the blanks as we go on, maybe even head coach, I'm okay with that. I can live with that.
Yeah, we'll see what it looks like moving forward. But this is good, too, because whenever Jason Tatum's back, again, what does Dad say, 8-9 months?
Yeah.
That'd be February of return. I don't want Jason Tatum touching a basketball floor this season.
He should not play next season at all. I agree.
I don't want him touching a basketball floor. But whenever Jason Tatum's back, Jaylen Brown's going to have the surgery all the way behind him.
That's right.
And that's the most important part. Marcelo Mayer.
Woo, Lord.
How about him, man?
Man, listen.
Welcome home. First home run at Fenway Park, not once, but twice. At Fenway. Marcelo Mayer, see the tweet on your screen from the Red Sox. The youngest player with a multi-homer game since Rafael Devers in 2018.
You know when you see that Wally head come
Something
out.
good's happening. Fort Knox tweeting, dude's a beast. Love to see the young guns shine.
Yes.
Agree. We saw Roman Anthony two nights ago, 2 RBI double.
Yep.
Marcelo Mayer, 2 RBI himself, both solo shots.
Yep.
Then Will, your all-star propagandist. What else happened in 2018, admin? Oh, the Red Sox got a ring and a World Series pennant once again. I mean, that was awesome to see from him. 2 pitches, same spot. What's important at the major league level, when a pitcher misses, you have to make them pay.
That's right.
And Mayer did it with 2 no-doubters into deep right field. I love those home runs.
Listen, the second one I thought was the best one. I don't know why, bro. They were both swagged out.
Because he did it again and he knew.
Yeah, that's what it was. Maybe because the first one he kind of muscled, and he's like, yeah. And the second one, he's like, watch this. Whoop!
Yep.
This dude, it's not just the bat either. Like, he's getting it done with the glove, too.
Yeah.
I like all these kids, but I really like him. He's a complete ball player. Mm-hmm. And I see a little dog in him, too. Him and Roman both got they got a little intensity to them. And it's been great for this team. I mean, I wouldn't give them all the credit for the turnaround lately, but I would certainly say that they're sparks or catalysts for the turnaround lately, and we're seeing it. The fact that you even won a 1-run game is a miracle. Thank God. 0 errors. So, again, although you can't give all the credit to Mayer and Anthony and Campbell and all the young guys, they are sparks because we are watching in real time this Red Sox team turn it around. The only question is, can they be consistent? Is it sustainable? I believe it is.
Yeah. This is a team that's starting to click, too.
Yes.
We're seeing Roman Anthony, Marcelo Mayer, Christian Campbell hit 1, 2, 3 as well. In lineup, one after the next. 5, 6, 7, of course, where they actually slotted, but one after the next. And when it's Roman Anthony one night showing his poise, it's Marcelo Mayer, and pitchers are figuring him out. We'll see what happens in a month when pitchers catch up, know his tendencies,
and
adjust.
With both of them.
For both of them. But you can make major league pitchers pay. The exit velocities on these batted balls, ridiculous. How deep they were as well. Deep right field, like that's hard to hit home runs out there.
Power.
He did it twice in that spot. And in a 4-3 win, Jaron Duran leadoff home run. Abraham Toro with the icing on the cake had the go-ahead and game-winning home run eventually.
How about that?
0 errors in the field.
That's what I'm saying.
Clean baseball, simple baseball. Finding different ways to win, that's what this Red Sox team needs to do. It's also what's impressive about them as well.
I'm telling you, it is sustainable. And by the way, let's add this in. Lucas Giolito told you, I'm going to pitch better. Walker Buehler told you, I'm going to pitch better after their last 2 outings, which were nightmares. But look at what Giolito just did, and look at what Buehler just did. If these guys, that's the key to me. Those two and Bayo, if they can all have turned the corner and find some consistency and go deep into these games, eat some innings up, here comes the Red Sox. Because we know Crochet's going to show up.
Exactly. You know what you're going to get with the ace. What do you get at the 2 and 3 starters in this rotation? Garrett Crochet, going back last 5 starts for starting pitchers. 6 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 9 Ks. Hunter Dobbins, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 2 home runs on those. Brian Bayo, 6 1/3, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. Giolito, 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs. Walker Buehler, 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 7 Ks.
See?
Baseball, with everything we talk about, chase percentage, whiff percentage, hard hit percentage, all of this, sometimes you just got to look at starting pitching like that.
That's right.
Do they go deep in games? Do they get the job done? Do they set up the bullpen for success? And sometimes we just have to look at the lineup of, are they supporting their starting pitchers?
That's right.
The defense with 0 errors, back-to-back games, back-to-back clean sheets.
Bats are alive. Come on now. Don't let them Sox get hot.
It's all about piecing them together. All right, I'm going to bring your excitement down.
Oh, no. I'm on cloud 9.
You like brownies? You like dessert?
I love brownies.
Stefan Diggs shared a strawberry brownie recipe on his Instagram story. Unique one with this. What's key with this? They are pink. See the tweet from the Greek Gridiron, our producer, Ethan. Love him. Stefan Diggs sharing this after telling reporters he doesn't want to talk about his personal life. It's pure comedy. Pink brownies. What was in the bag? Something pink.
Come
on the boat. This is after the guy spoke to reporters, said, I don't share my personal life with people I don't know personally, while he's literally doing an off-the-field documentary for his YouTube page. When asked, what? Go.
He's doing a doc?
Yeah.
So let me get this straight.
When asked to, did you know the cameras were there? He goes, I'm not going to answer that. Do you regret it? I'm not going to answer that.
Were the cameras on the boat? Was your documentary cameras on the boat? That's what I want to know.
We're going to find out.
This is, bro, now you're trolling, Stephon. You're trolling. This dude does, you know how, I say this sometimes on the show. People that don't get it, don't get that they don't get it.
Yes.
He's one of them.
Yes.
I want to keep my personal life private, but my girlfriend's Cardi B. What? Huh? Like what? What? You can't let this go. The media peppered you and your coach with questions about this. You both sidestepped. Okay, we won it in the past. We're focused on it now. Cool, bro. We'll drop it. No problem. But then you do this. And now we're talking about this. This is stupid to talk about, but we have to because you did it. What'd you say, on IG stories?
Yep.
On your IG stories. I can't, bro. I can't. And just wait, because it's coming. When that first argument hits, oh my God. When Cardi B and Stephon getting a first beef, she is going to IG Live. She is going to Twitter Spaces. She might come here. She might come to Boston and enter their chat and air all their business out. And then what are we going to say? And then what's he going to do? Troll her? Bro, I'm telling you, I told you from the beginning, this was the wrong guy to sign. He's older, he's coming off an injury, and he's never been a leader.
There's the smartest guy in the room, and then there's a guy that thinks he's the smartest guy in the room.
Bingo.
And he's a ladder in this one. The lack of maturity. You need leadership. You need maturity. You need him to act like a pro. For this wide receiver room especially, what I did say, I didn't love how he addressed it, but you know what? He was asking questions. He found a way to dodge it, and I go, cool. Let's flip the page. We're all moving past it.
That's what I'm saying. We were ready to move on.
And then you post this on your Instagram story. We're not dumb. Don't insult the intelligence of people. Again, thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Just don't post.
Don't post.
For what? Just literally this one post, don't post. Post anything else except something that makes a mockery of what you're doing to yourself. Hurting yourself and hurting the team. We'll take another break here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. When we're back, our guy, Steve Perrault of Section 10 stops by. We'll be talking Red Sox, the Rooks, Roman Empire, Cello going yard, and a little preview of Yankees, Red Sox at Fenway this weekend as well. And make sure, every Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. on NESN, 9 to 10 a.m. on NESN Nation, catch Boston Has Entered the Chat for the latest in Boston sports headlines, what's trending around the world of sports, and the latest discussions as well. It's 8 to 9 a.m. on NESN, 9 to 10 a.m. on NESN Nation every Monday through Friday. Boston Has Entered the Chat. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. George Balekji, Travis Thomas, T. The Yankees are coming to town.
Yeah, they are.
And the Red Sox have won back-to-back series.
You're damn right they have.
For the first time since early May.
Yeah.
Won 5 of their last 7.
You're damn right they have.
The rookies are showing up.
That's right.
Excitement, it's palpable in Boston. Is this team piecing it together? Let's get to our guy, Steve Perrault of Section 10, joining the show. You could catch him there with the rest of the gang. One of the co-hosts, Stevie P, my man. How we doing?
I'm doing good. Again, my mental health is based on the Red Sox. So
Great.
The fact that they have done what you just said, they've won 2 series in a row, it feels like they're on top of the world. I'm just going to ride this high for now, and we'll see how it goes.
First time since Rangers-Royals back-to-back. We see them winning 1-run games, Steve. We see starting pitching, the last 5 starts, going 5 or more innings pitched. We're seeing back-to-back games, 0 errors in the field. What is this team doing in your eyes? Do you think they are turning the page and this can be consistent?
Here's the tough part. I don't know if I want to jump in and just assume like, okay, they figured it out. They know what they're doing. Everything's all right. You're going to have to take the little wins with how the roster looks right now. With like half the roster's rookies. So, you know, you got Marcelo hitting a couple homers last night. Roman Anthony getting his first hit out of the way. Christian Campbell's had an interesting start so far. Obviously, rookie of the month and one of the worst months of anyone in baseball in May. Now he's kind of in the middle territory there. So if the rotation can consistently give you 6 innings plus, which is a huge if, by the way, I don't expect that to keep happening outside of Crochet and maybe a couple other guys here or there, then you could be okay. But again, it's going to be growing pains the whole season, but you can still have growing pains and exist in this American League and compete for a playoff spot. So we can kind of have it all here.
Talk to me about the Young Bucks. We'll leave Campbell out of this for now. Let's just talk Mayer and Anthony. What do you see? I mean, give me your scouting report. What do you see from these guys? Because I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're going to be all-stars before we all can blink from what I've seen early from these kids. What do you see from each one of them that makes them special?
2 of the best-looking dudes on the team, and I think they know that. They're aware that they're good-looking. Marcelo is one of the chillest guys of all time.
Yep.
What I see in the first thing that I noticed is that they're very composed. They don't really feel like rookies. And this is nothing against Christian Campbell, but he's had that deer in the headlights look a couple of times this year. Like he hasn't fully looked more than just a rookie, which is okay.
Right.
But if anything, that's why I'm going to compliment Roman and Marcelo, because they seem like they've been here for a couple of years. And they're best buddies. They were roommates in Worcester. They know everything about each other. So the fact that you have your really good friend there, specifically for Roman coming up, and being able to pair up with this guy again and just kind of pick each other's brains on what are you seeing here, what are you seeing there. But specifically in the series finale, and this is a complete guess, by the way, fellas, I think Marcelo has a lot less pressure now because everyone's looking at Roman. The second that Roman Anthony came up, everyone had their graphics ready. The Roman Empire, I mean, Section 10, us included, we had this huge Roman Empire graphic ready to go, and we're all, saying he's the greatest player of all time. Now Marcelo can just show up and ball. And before, it was everyone looking at him. Okay, Christian Campbell's struggling a little bit. Let's see what Marcelo Mayer can do. Now I think he can just kind of ease into that position, and they can all grow together. So as of now, it's, again, you're going to have growing pains, but these guys are ready to go, and I'm just thankful that we're at this point. Even if there's struggles, the fact that we've gotten to the point where they're all on the same roster at the same time, I didn't know when this was going to happen. I don't think any of us knew when it was going to happen. They took forever to bring Roman up. So just that they're all here now, we can be, comfortable with that. Even though when Willier comes back, who knows if they option Campbell, they might not have the big three up here at the same time anymore, but we'll see when that moment happens.
They might.
Long term, if they figure it out, that's what matters at that point. What do you see? I like that you point that out because it is the question mark. Like, we know Alex Bregman's out for an extended period of time with the quad strain. Willier Abreu's 10, 15-day IL. He'll be back sooner rather than later. When Willier Abreu's back on the Major League roster, Roman Anthony's playing right now, holding it down decent. What do you see with this lineup defensively, how it would look once Willier is back?
I have no clue what they're going to do. And here's the thing, George, they don't either. I think they've shown you as this season has gone on, they're like, we're kind of winging it. I mean, even with Roman coming up for his big league debut, they sent all his stuff to Lehigh.
I know.
He got taken off the bus. He's like, I don't know what glove I'm going to use. I guess it's Marcelo's backup glove, and then he's using his bat, too. If anything, that's why when he has that error in his first game, it's like, we don't even know if that's his glove. He's not even, like, using his own equipment. He doesn't have his cleats. So I can't blame these guys when they're trying to just get adjusted to the big league level. But I got to tell you, man, I have no idea what they're going to do when Willier Abreu comes back. And they don't know what they're going to do. It's a very interesting situation because now Masataka Yoshida is taking batting practice at Fenway. You got Sam Kennedy saying, hey, when the time's right, Raffy's going to be in the field. I don't know where the hell that's going to be. He's taking grounders at shortstop, which makes no sense to me. Maybe it's just to get used to being in the field again, and they would never put him there. But it's an interesting situation. You can really point at Breslow and say they probably should have had a better, a more aligned roster and a roster that was ready for these guys to come up. That's the one thing I've been a little upset about in the last couple of weeks is that Marcelo and Roman are only up here because of injuries. I would have way rather have been like, nope, we had this time ready for them. We had this whole plan for them in the minors of what they're going to do defensively, what goals we needed them to reach at the plate. And instead it's like, Willier, tweaked his side. So Roman Anthony has arrived in the big leagues. Like, that kind of sucks that it happened that way. But either way, it's going to be, I mean, there's a way you can look at it as embarrassment of riches that you have a lot of guys that you think can play at a high level. So maybe it's that.
That's what I was going to say. The A's, the White Sox, the Rockies, there's a number of teams that wish they had these problems. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, and that's mentioned by Sam Kennedy. He mentioned it in pregame before yesterday's game as well. He did drop that bomb in there. It's like, okay, so that means buy-in from Rafael Devers. And I think what's important is if you can see the buy-in, we've seen from these rookies, Steve, Roman Anthony's playing out of position. He's an outfielder, but he's primarily been playing left as he's come up and developed. He's playing in right. Meyer's a shortstop. He's playing third. The easy one to always go with is the best athlete on this team. Cedane Rafaela from center to second. That would coincide with Christian Campbell getting options.
I've seen clips. By the way, the clips you guys have are great. I love the clips in the little chat bubbles. It's Cedane, George. I keep seeing you say Cedane. It's Cedane, George. We got to figure that out.
Get him, Steve.
Walk it back. Cedane Rafaela.
Remix.
Can go from center to second. Move Duran over to center. Roman Anthony to left. Willier and right. But this is also, and like, that's the shuffle. But to your point, there's the embarrassment of riches. And what does this look like? And with Masataka Yoshida, is he a DH? Okay, that means Raffy would have to play the field. Or is that a guy, a pinch hitter, who is a reliable bat? Not power, but you can rely on. Again, it becomes embarrassment of riches. There needs to be a strategy. What I think is important with Mayer and Roman Anthony, if they're coming up and they produce, they need to keep taking major league at-bats and developing that way. Hey, 100%. Can't go under the radar. Mayer, 4 at-bats yesterday. Got the full go, avoided left-handed pitchers, but had a lot of success.
Yeah, the left-handed, the left-on-left thing they're doing with Roman and Marcelo, I don't fully agree with. And you can look at some of the stats in the minors, and I know Cora's way of looking at it is minor league pitching, especially minor league lefties, are not major league lefties. And I get that. If you have an even decent minor league lefty, he's on the major league club. So, like, understandable that's the case, and you're going to see better pitching at this level. I'd rather these guys just go through those growing pains, though, and just get those ABs out of the way. Even looking back at game 1 in the series, Roman Anthony gets pitch hit for late in the game. I believe it was in extra innings. They'd given him 4 or 5 at bats, so it was, which, by the way, that whole day was insane. I mean, he gets called up late, again, doesn't have his equipment, and now we need him to get an extra innings hit to win the game. It's like, that's setting high expectations for him, but you got to let these guys get those ABs out of the way, feel like they're comfortable in those spots. And you also, I'm very specific with rookies when it comes to not messing with their confidence. If I come up and everyone's like, you're the greatest, but then now I can't face a left-handed pitcher, but I'm like the best prospect in baseball, it makes you kind of feel a little different about your abilities. So I don't love that.
I don't want to talk about the boring Rays anymore. We got them out of here. I'm turning my attention to the Yankees. So I'm asking you this. It does appear as though the Sox have turned the page or in the process of doing that. Is it sustainable? Can they find consistency in it? Can they take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees again? We just saw them do it in the Bronx. Can they do it here at Fenway?
They can, because the Red Sox are not really worried about the Yankees. It's interesting, even though the Yankees have had, you know, a stronghold on the division for the last handful of years, Sox and Yankees are playing 500 ball against each other for the last, like, 5 seasons. So they basically seem to split all of these series. Red Sox at Fenway against the Yanks, actually a pretty good team. Aaron Judge is so good. I know this wasn't the question, but what he's doing is insane. It's like, I love him, but I always have to, like, whisper that. I'm like, I like that guy a lot. I think he's great. He's a good role model. He's like, he does everything perfect. And he's on pace for 142 RBIs. He'd be the first player this century for back-to-back 140 RBI seasons. But it's beautiful because, like, I can still like him as a human and a player, but look at the rest of the lineup, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not really that scared. I mean, specifically that series in New York, you look at guys coming up, and Ben Rice, I guess, is good, but I'm like, I got to be worried about Ben Rice. I'm not worried about him at all. So overall, it's more about pitching. If they can get depth from the rotation, I think they're going to be fine. The series finale was a great sign of what a real team does. They have a starter go 7 innings, then they have the bullpen go 2. It's like, that's great. That's what real teams do. That's what playoff teams do. If they can keep doing that, then I feel good about it. I think they're going to take 2 out of 3 this weekend.
I do too. Steve, I want to go back before George goes and go back on the Aaron Judge thing, because I do the same thing as you. And it's like, it's hard because you don't want to give a Yankee props. I used to do it with Derek Jeter, too, of like, what can you really say about the guy? He is great. I actually think right now, it's a hot take of mine, but like Judge, Harper, Trout, Soto, some of these great players in this generation, I think they're being outshadowed, too, and overshadowed by Shohei Ohtani, who's the greatest of them all. So I think as great as Judge is, some of it gets lost because there's a higher level of greatness in Ohtani playing at the same time. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, and I think you're only going to see more of that within the next month. Apparently, Ohtani is going to be back before the All-Star break as a pitcher, so he'll make his pitching debut with the Dodgers. And the funny thing about that is, like, not only will he be back on the mound, but you're going to hear about the fact that he'll be back on the mound for the next month. So even just the idea of him doing something sometimes overshadows what Aaron Judge is doing, which is an otherworldly level of talent. So, no, you're not wrong with that at all. It's just I watch him most nights. I always have the TV. It's like Sox. Always want to see what the Yankees are doing, of course, even though the division is basically over at this point for the Red Sox. But no, he's doing stuff that's crazy. Even just the in-bat adjustments. The game on TBS the other night, it was like he had a curveball early, right on the edge, he stays off it. Another curveball, right off the edge, stays off it. He's got the 2-0 count. Bang, like 470-foot homer. That's the stuff I love because it's in-bat adjustments during an AB. You're making the right adjustment, being ready for your pitch, and max gets 1 pitch in at bat that he can hit. And the fact that you're crushing that pitch shows how good a hitter he is. So I'm obsessed is the wrong word. Again, he's got the Yankee logo on the hat. It's like a crazy. We're only on Nesson right now. I don't want to get nuts. But Aaron Judge is somebody that we may not see again, honestly. That's how good he is.
It's one of those things. We're witnessing greatness. You should appreciate it. I think it's a respect. for the way Yankees fans looked at David Ortiz, how clutch he was, you hate him,
That's
but
right.
you realize how great he is in the postseason.
That's
Greatest, most clutch postseason hitter. To go back to this Red Sox-Yankees lineup, obviously Crochet is getting the ball. The series ends with Max Fried. To me, what it leads up to for the Red Sox and what I'm interested in, Yarbrough game 1, Rodon game 2. We saw them piece both of them up.
Yep.
Do you see this lineup being able to take advantage again of those two starting pitchers?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's pretty rare that you have back-to-back weekend series against the Yankees, especially now that you have less games in division. So that could be a good and bad thing. It's like, we see you, you see me. There's that town scene where it's like, you saw my face, now I saw yours. So it's like each side knows each other's stuff right now. So you're going to have a book on them, but they'll have a book on you. I just think either way, regardless of who's on the mound, and I understand Fried's in the finale, and he's been filthy. The Red Sox just need to play their game. Yeah. You got to see a lot of pitches, get guys on base, turn it over to the next guy, and it starts again with the rotation. I'm not really worried about the lineup. They have the 5th most runs in baseball. Obviously, a little bit of a downslope there when Breggy got hurt, but he should be back. I don't want to say relatively soon, but it seems like he's got like a hyper warp speed recovery time apparently right now. So when he's back in the lineup, that'll even help him more. Again, I stick with the rotation over the lineup and with the bullpen too. The key part of games 2 and 3, innings 6 through 9, the Red Sox pitchers gave up 0 runs.
That's right.
They only scored 1, but they gave up 0, and that's why they won the series. So I'm really focused on, can these guys go? Just give me 6 innings.
That's
like
it.
When I was growing up, 6 innings was nothing. Now it's
you're like,
oh my
he's getting
God,
pulled already?
That's right.
He's only at
Dude,
159 pitches?
That's
What?
right. That's right.
I don't know if there's a clause in Cora's contract that he gets more money if he pulls a guy at 4 2/3, but it does kind of feel like that. And Bayo always wants to kill him. But yeah, just give us a little depth in the rotation, and they should be fine.
This team is good, guys. So here's my question.
They're not bad.
What's the ceiling?
Thank you.
What's the ceiling? Are we talking wild card? Can they get into the postseason, make some noise? What's the ceiling, Steve?
Yeah, they can get in the playoffs. Absolutely. Okay. I got to say, like, before this series and before the Yankees series, we had Jeff Passan on the podcast, and we were so down coming off another series loss, especially to the Angels. It's like, come on now. And Passan was like, you know what, guys? I know you're 162 guys. You take every little play, like, way too seriously. Could be a playoff team, and it weirdly like reopened my eyes to it because I'm a homer, by the way. I mean, I got the Boston Strong, I got the jersey and everything. Like, I don't hide the fact that my life is way more fun when the Red Sox are good.
Sure.
But we were so down on them that we weren't even allowing ourselves to think, wait a second, it's early June. There's so much time left. It's technically not even summer yet. Like, let's let summer get here.
Right.
Let's let, Fenway, hot weather at Fenway, hitting the ball off the monster. It's going to be crazy. Let's allow that to happen and then see where it goes. But, Trav, to the question, I mean, they just got to get in. Like, if anything, they're in a perfect spot because these teams that win the divisions then have to wait a little while, and they normally, I don't want to say normally, but I think almost half the time they're losing in the first round.
That's right. That's right.
You go from 162 games, and then all of a sudden your body's just told to stop, and then you got to pick it back up.
They need to fix it. I don't know how they do, but as it were, like right now, if you're a wild card team that just snuck in, you have like the best chance to win the World Series.
Yeah, no one wants you to come to their building and play. That's what that is. No one will want to see the Sox if they can get in. That's a fact.
And this is a team. I agree with you. The frustration was that they kept losing in the same way. The one-run games are because of the errors.
Yes.
Literally, no pitcher should try to pick off attempt at second base ever again the rest of eternity.
My God,
if you wear a Red Sox uniform. It's simple. Keep it at that.
I want to break my TV. We got to stop throwing it to second. We were talking about it last night, and Milliken mentioned, I think they picked someone off at second in like the Texas series to start the season.
Maybe
so they're like
delusional confidence.
I swear they have these meetings before the game where they're like, tonight's the night. We're getting a guy at second. It's like, no, stop throwing it to second base. It always ends up with Cedon in center field.
Cedon, Rafael. See, keep it simple. No pickoff attempts. Concentrate on the pitching. Concentrate on keeping the defense clean. He's Steve Perrault. Catch him on Section 10. Always holding down you and all the guys over there. You guys are the best. Steve, appreciate you hopping on. Nesson, my man. And Boston has entered the chat.
You guys are the best. Appreciate you having me on. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for teaching me pronunciations, too. He's Steve Perrault of Section 10. Shame on me, man. I take pride in it.
You're a pro.
I got a tough last name. Got to get first names right. He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. Boston has entered the chat. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Boston Center, the chat. Travis Thomas, George Balekji. Fun one we always like to do.
Yep.
We like to bring you guys into the show. We
That's
like
right.
you guys to join the chat. Make sure you can use the hashtag NESSENChat to join the conversation on X, Instagram, whatever. You can email us, the chat at NESSEN.com, 617-790-0928 to leave a voicemail as well. Again, 617-790-0928. You see it on your screens. Let's get to some of the comments on our YouTube page. This first one, this is on Roman Anthony from In God I Trust 777. Okay, shout out, God.
Shout out to G.O.D.
Anthony is going to be an all-star. You can already tell. The way he slapped that 2 RBI double was pro-like.
Yep.
Just wait till he hits one of those long 500-foot bombs. Fans are going to go crazy.
Facts.
Hopefully we can sign him long-term. 500-foot?
He just
He hit
did it.
497 in
Yeah,
Worcester.
I mean, come on. That ball ain't landed yet.
You know me, temper expectations, but this is a guy that you see him in the box, the poise he has. That big 2 RBI double.
Yeah.
24 hours after going 0 for the night before. And again, being thrusted into the fire of getting called up to MLB at just 21 years old, hitting 5th in the lineup. You're not getting hitting 7th, 8th, 9th, hitting 5th.
Yeah.
Showed up with that big 2 RBI double, got better in the field the next night too. This is a guy, I mean, there's a reason he's a #1 prospect in all of baseball. It's the physical, it's also the mental with him.
Not just that, when they did call him up, the team was in a rough spot. It was, storm clouds over the Red Sox, and people were heaping these expectations of bring Roman Anthony up, he'll save the whole world. And it's like, whoa, slow down. Don't put that kind of pressure on the kid. However, I mean, the kid has responded, and it looks like the pressure's not a big deal to him. I agree with this comment, mainly the all-star part of it. Like, I could see that. I could see Roman Anthony being an all-star sooner rather than later, but I would also throw in to that ingredient, Marcelo Mayer, who is also a complete ball player, George. We see it at the plate with Bro. We just talked about the 2 homers he hit last night, and we see it with the glove. He is making plays on the defensive side as well. Marcelo Mayer and Roman Anthony, for my money, could both be all-stars sooner rather than later, and I'm still holding out hope for Christian Campbell as well. I never like to leave him out.
Yeah.
He's got to figure out the bat right now, but we know the talent's there for him as well, and defensively, he's fantastic. So I think all 3 of these guys could be all-stars.
And it is parts, too, of Christian Campbell still learning second base. I mean, he had 30
facts.
games. He had 30 games just over
Facts.
when he was at Georgia Tech. 30 games played in the minor league level, just over that at second base. And this is a guy, too, that was in AAA all of last season, talking about Christian Campbell. Got called up to AAA eventually, now in Major League Baseball.
That's right.
Marcelo Mayer's a shortstop. He's played some second base. Right now he's playing third. He's playing out of his position,
Everyone's
holding
out
it
of
down
position.
until Bregman's back.
Yeah.
And Roman Anthony, a lot of left field when he was in Worcester, now in right, where he has under 5 career games at the minor league level. He's now 3 games into right field in his major
That's a
league career.
great point of, we're talking about the future of these guys
still
and
learning
if
as
they'll
they
be
go.
all-stars. But they're all playing out of position. They're still learning. Once they get settled, whatever that looks like, whatever position, once they get settled, the sky's the limit for all 3 of them. That's a good point.
Yeah. Here's from Da Poke King, or is it Poke? The Poke King. He puts the bat in the ball and bat on the ball and was still productive in some way. Talking
Who's
about
he
Roman
talking
Anthony.
about? Oh, Roman, okay.
That's what's impressive is that his outs aren't like 3 strikeouts a game. Obviously one game, but I'm assuming he won't strike out more than 2 times a game. I mean, so this was after his first game. No, I mean, what is impressive, 12 at-bats, just 3 strikeouts, making contact, and even when he went 0 for 4 in his debut, was good contact with the bat as well, showing poise, one of the strikeouts not swinging. And hey, you're learning what a Major League Baseball sweeper looks like compared at the AAA level, especially coming from a lefty. If you're a good lefty, good, not great. If you're a good lefty, you're at the Major League level. You're not down in AAA.
Right.
And that's part of why Marcelo Mayer and Roman Anthony, to some extent, are being protected from facing Major League lefties. They have to get acclimated to that. But this is a guy that putting a ton of balls in play, not a lot of strikeouts, small sample size, just 3 games. But that goes to what his talent is. His eyes, his poise in the box, his great judgment and understanding of what he's seeing. And that's what leads to a great hitter. It's not just the power. You can have all the power in the world. If you can't see a baseball coming out of a pitcher's hand the right way, then you're a nobody in the Major League level. As great as Barry Bonds was,
he
had
could
one
hit.
of the best eyes. I would say the best eyes
Maybe
we've
the
ever
best.
seen in the box.
Yeah, maybe the best ever. I agree. I also think, look, you said that's how hitters, can have a long career. I just think that's how you can have a long career, period. Because as time goes on, You know, I mean, these coaches sit down and figure out your game and analyze your game, and these pitchers sit down and analyze what are his strengths, what are his weaknesses. In other words, the longer you go on in your career, the more tape, the more notes, the more analytical these teams can be about you and try to figure out how to pitch around you. So to your point, George, just make contact, just get on base, hit, play the game the right way. If you're doing that, you're going to have a long career, because as they adjust, so do you. Oh, they figured out I don't like this. All right, well, I'm going to figure out how to still be productive, right? Yeah. So I think Roman Anthony has that kind of ability, and we know all these kids are students of the game. That's the key. Just keep learning, keep improving, keep getting better, keep developing, and they'll be absolute monsters before you know it.
And his timing with the fastball was never in question in the minor league.
That's right.
Every fastball he's seen so far in just 3 games, again, small sample size, made good contact and put those balls in play.
That's right.
So major league pitchers can't come up and just blow by him. They have to bring their best stuff. Slider, split finger, sweeper, whatever that may be.
Sure.
All right, heading to Instagram with some of the comments. Brendan Burns. We'll be sending out Trevor Story apology forms this week, myself included.
I'm not signing that form. I was tough on him too. Listen, it might be different for George and I, because this is what we do for a living, but we're supposed to sit up here and call it how we see it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's what we did. It wasn't personal. We don't know Trevor's story. We were given his numbers, and they weren't good. And now the bat, thank the baseball gods, is alive and well. So we don't need to apologize to him. We need to celebrate him. All right, Trevor Story's entered the chat. Let's go. Now we can turn this season around. I'm not apologizing for what? He was playing. We called it how we saw it. He wasn't playing well. What are we supposed to do? I mean, we got to call it how we see it, don't we?
And this is coming after he had a 5 RBI performance. He had a home run as well. So he's turned it around. His last 12 games, 13 RBI, 13 hits, hitting well, averaging 283 over that course. But yeah, it's the extension. We need to see that long term. Still great with his glove. He had that fantastic turnaround out that he threw last night. It's the bat with Trevor Story. It's the same thing of the criticism. Connor Wong, good defensive catcher. He's been atrocious with his bat this season. Yes, he's a backup catcher, but there gets to a point where it does matter who you're hitting in that spot. It does matter 1 through 9 who you're putting out there.
Yeah.
Wong needs to get better. Trevor Story needs to keep it consistent. I won't sign the form yet, but if it is a month,
I'm not letting you sign it.
If I can see it for a full month,
I'm not letting you sign that. Like you called out, bro, you sat up here. You're more numerical than I am. I'd sit up here and I'd say, man, I don't know what's going on. You'll sit up here and say, well, according to the exit velo and you don't need to apologize to anyone. Like Trevor Story would tell you that. You know what I mean? Like look, the bat has showed up. I do believe it will be consistent, George. I do think what we've seen from him lately is sustainable. We were just waiting on it, and it's arrived. Great. Let's get to the postseason now. Yeah. That's where I'm locked in on.
Here's from Bodega Bands with a Z.
Bands will make it dang. Come on. Bands will make it dang. Hey.
Yesterday was a Roman game. Today was a Marcelo game. Lord knows how many W's we would have had by now. Should have did this in April. Should have done this in April. Quick grammar correction, Bodega Bands.
This goes back to the Trevor Story thing. Like, let's just enjoy what we have. Let's not play the whole, we should have did this. Relax. How do you know that they were ready in April? You don't. So just enjoy the show. I mean, it's killing me that we owe this guy an apology, and we should have did this then, and we should have, woulda, coulda. You didn't. And you didn't for a reason. But now it's working. Just enjoy it. Breathe. Smell the roses.
They went 15-11 in April. Now, coming out of April, you bank on that. They had a really tough month of May. They made the correction. We see the juice. But these are also guys that were called up. Marcelo Mayer because of the Bregman injury. Roman Anthony because of the Wilyer Abreu injury.
Facts.
So why them being called up and it had to hinder on an injury? There is that question mark there. We'll see what happens when Wilyer Abreu is off the IL. We'll see what happens when Alex Bregman is off the IL as well. They came up and look, yeah, you could say it should have been earlier. I do agree with that to Roman Anthony to an extent.
You did.
1-run losses.
Yes.
But the defense has to be corrected. The starting pitching has to be better. And the bullpen has to step up. And again, it's more than these two guys. You still got to evaluate who you got at the major league level. We'll see what happens when those major leaguers come back. All right, now going back to YouTube comments. This one on Marco Sturm.
All right.
Gordoff, 44. Marco is a breath of fresh air. I got to agree with Gordo here.
Yeah, we talked about that.
It was awesome hearing him appear with our peeps on Hockey Hub.
Yep.
We also saw him make his rounds. He was in the booth last night at the Sox game, too.
Yeah.
And this is a guy asked every question. Where's Casey Middlestat playing? You know what? I don't know the player, but he has a fresh start, and we'll see.
That's right.
Same with Zaka, same with Lindholm. Hey, do you like fighting? Yeah. You have to protect your teammates. I'm big on that. I love seeing that. But also, what's your style of play? It's open ice. We need to be quick. We need to be physical. We need to be fast.
Yeah.
Everything he said, it is. He is a breath of fresh air to lead that team.
He also loves local. Like, it's his family never left. His family's like, hey, good luck. Go chase your dream. We're staying here. I mean, he's like, my family's been wanting all of us to be together in Boston since I've left, quite frankly. So he is very refreshing. He's very honest, too, which I like. He, as you said, like, he'll answer questions. There's coach speak that I think once we get into the season, he'll probably give. One day at a time, we got to practice hard. You know, we all know the cliche phrases, right? Every coach does it, every sport. I'll give him that. But right now, not in season, being the new guy, like, he's fantastic. He's honest, he's cool, he's laid back. He was in the booth when the Sox were putting up runs.
Yeah,
they're like, you can't move, dog. You got to stay here.
Stay right here. You ain't leaving.
Don't even breathe. Just do everything you're doing now. So he is very refreshing. I think he's going to be successful with the Bruins. My question is, how long till success comes back?
Yep.
Are we talking next season, or are we talking 2 seasons from? That's my question, and that remains to be seen. But so far, and we all felt like this was the right hire, George, and so far, so good.
Here's the next comment coming in. This one's from Rep7288. It starts with on and off ice chemistry.
Yep.
A decent start naming Sturm as head coach, on to the draft and free agency. And it's right. I mean, and he even asked about, Jeremy Swayman. Hey, do you think he's the number one? He goes, the player will dictate how good he'll be, how much he'll play, and if he's the man or not.
Sure.
Now, we know the contract, we know the politics in it.
That's right.
But he also said, too, of like seeing what Swayman did in the international tournament, that's surely going to help him as well. As for onto the draft and free agency, exactly. First step was hitting reset at the trade deadline. Next step was naming the head coach. One after that's going to be the draft at the end of this month. What do they do with the 7th overall pick, man? Roger McQueen, 6'5", 200-pound center, 19 years old, out of the Western Hockey League, really good puck handling. I think that's a guy that they would go with, and it makes sense where he'd fall. And then you get to the free agency. Do you get depth on the wings? Do you get a deeper blue line as well? We see what they do there. Then an Instagram comment, Dan_Alejandro. Does he emphasize physical play and heavy hitting? He emphasized fighting. And I love that about him.
He also talked about defense, period. So I think that's going to be his calling card. I think defense is going to be his calling card, period. Day one, when he walks in, this is the first thing we're going to adjust and improve and upgrade is our defense. So I think so. I think that old school Bruins mentality and style is deep in his mind here. And I'm cool with it.
I'm with it, too. I mean, they have to get better defensively. How do they play in front of their goalie?
That's right.
All right, we'll take another break here on Boston has entered the chat. When we're back, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, are they safe from a Celtics rebuild? Find out. But also make sure to get the latest up-to-date live Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports and social topics every weekday on Boston has entered the chat. To catch us live at 8 a.m. on NESN, 9 a.m. on NESN Nation, every Monday through Friday. That's Boston has entered the chat right here on NESN. We're back on Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas, George Balekji. The Celtics are in the offseason. NBA Finals are underway. How about the Pacers, man?
I'm just glad we have a series because I thought for sure it was going to be Thunder in 3 and the Pacers would be waving the white flag for Game 4 and not even show up. Wrong. Pacers are for real. They have a 2-1 lead.
How they're closing out the money minutes, man. The danger zone, end of the half, end of the game. 2-1 lead in Indy.
Also, for all the idiots that say coaching doesn't matter, I mean,
Rick Carlisle.
Rick Carlisle.
He's doing it again. Every stop he's been.
I'll be honest. If he gets a ring and they shock the world and pull this upset off, you can definitively say he's the most underrated coach of all time.
Yeah, I like that.
Definitive.
What he did with Dallas back in the day, what he had that team at before he was fired from that job, too.
Yes.
What Jason Kidd has done.
Yes.
What Rick Carlisle's doing right now. There's
Underrated.
not a single player on the Pacers that would play minutes over the guys that the Thunder have in those roles.
When we talk NBA coaches, you never bring him up.
Ever.
Most underrated coach of all time, if he gets this done. Right now, he's just underrated, okay? If he gets this done, he's the GOAT of underrated.
Now, he's not going anywhere in the East, but what would the Celtics look like? What will they look like when they're matching up with the Pacers next season? As always, Sham Charania with the Sham Bombs. Here was a report he put out. Are teams making big offers about Jaylen Brown and Derek White? 100%. The Celtics prefer not to trade them, from my understanding. If they get a big offer, they have to look at everything. And I think they're going to get offers on the three guys that they're focused on. The three guys is Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and Sam Hauser. They're going to get offers potentially on Derek White and Jaylen Brown, and I think between now and the draft and free agency, they're going to evaluate what makes sense from a value perspective. As Shams added, primary focus, from my understanding, with the Celtics offseason has been Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Sam Hauser, and their trade markets. Obviously, fans reacting to this on X as well. Trading away your finals MVP a year after is mad work. Welcome to the new CBA and the new second apron. Here's from Mikey Coinsnatch. What? Losing Derek White will be the downfall of their team. I love D. White. He's their third best player. That won't be the downfall of the Celtics.
Coinsnatch could be like a crypto thing.
It definitely is.
Right?
Definitely is. Dime work. Is that crypto too? Derek White should be untouchable. I'd listen to offers for Jaylen Brown. Okay.
What? Look.
You can't say Derek White's untouchable and be like, but Jaylen Brown, I listen to offers on him.
What are you talking about, bro?
The only untouchable guy is a top 5 guy in the league, and that's Jason Tatum. You don't want to move Derek White, who's your third best player, or Jaylen Brown, who's your second best player.
Yeah.
But again, it's business, and this is a team in a very difficult situation right now.
You said who's untouchable?
Jason Tatum. He's untouchable. Yeah. Giannis.
All I'm saying is...
There's one player. There's 2 players. But you wouldn't get that offer.
What?
Wemby, SGA.
Okay, so then you can't say untouchable.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get that offer.
I know.
All right.
All right. Let's refocus. White and Brown. Look, what's the plan? This is where I'm at with this because I've traded everybody. Okay, I've done every scenario possible, including Jason Tatum. But in the end, what is the plan? If the plan is the big 3 is Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum, and we're just waiting to get them all back healthy and happy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
If that's a plan, then Brad Stevens can operate outside of that. You trade everyone else. If that's not the plan or there is no plan, then yeah. I mean, I think Derek White and Jaylen Brown are tradable. And it would take, what Shams is saying here is, it would take a lot to get either one of these guys. But there are teams out there who would probably be willing to give up what it takes to get them if they feel as though they're close. And the team, look, the team names, they're not coming out of nowhere. They're consistently the same. It's Spurs, it's Rockets, it's teams that are close, George. So we're not talking about sending Jaylen Brown and or Derek White to the Brooklyn Nets here. You know what I mean? Like, we're not sending them to basketball hell. They're gonna go likely to teams that are contenders because that's who covets them. And we have to remember these are both champions. They know how to get it done. So of course, if you're a Timberwolf or you're one of these teams that have been close with no cigar, you're like, let's get one of those Celtics because they know how to get us a cigar. So it makes sense. But the asking price is going to be brutal. My gut is that is the big 3. I do think Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derek White, unless it's a Godfather offer that can be refused, aren't going to go anywhere. And I think everyone else, including our beloved Peyton Pritchard, sorry, love him, I think everyone without those last names, White, Brown, or Tatum, is on the trading block. I believe it. And it wouldn't shock me if any of them get moved. And it wouldn't shock me is if this big 3 who I just said comes back healthy and it's a completely different supporting cast around them all, including head coach. Wouldn't shock me at all.
That's where, exactly to your point, there's the pillars of what you build around. Every NBA team wants that elite wing that can shoot. It's Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. Those are the 3 best players. And when you get into a rebuild, especially with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're not going to be 30 by the time Tatum's back. Derek White will be 32, but that's a guy that makes such winning basketball plays all the time.
Bingo.
And with the style of game that he has, he's going to have a long career. He's already had a long, flourishing career, but it's not going anywhere soon. What he does defensively, what he does as a shooter, and as a point guard. With Jrue Holiday, look, at his age and his price tag, he has to get moved. This is a team that's $20 million over the second apron. And there are heavy implications that hurt team building when it comes to being over the second apron and very costly, especially for a new owner. They're another $32 million over that first apron. They would like to get under all the tax thresholds, and they can do it. And again, this is going to be in levels. Drew Holiday's probably first to go, and I'd bet a Sam Hauser. Then Kristaps Porzingis as they get closer to a trade deadline, especially if he shows illness is behind him and he can play. When it comes to Derek White and Jaylen Brown, no Celtics fan wants to see those names floated in trades. But it's doing business. And as Shams said, they're going to evaluate what makes sense from a value perspective, team building perspective.
That's why I say, what's the plan?
Exactly.
Right? What's the plan?
What's the long-term vision of
That's
the
right.
team? And how good Brad Stevens is leading that front office, all of this matters. Here's another report from Shams Charania.
Okay.
Reports that Kevin Durant is sorting through trade options with his business partner, focused on Rockets, Spurs, Timberwolves, Heat, and Knicks. We could see Kevin Durant coming to the East at the trade deadline.
Rockets, though, make the most sense. I know the East is in play, and the Heat make a lot of sense. The Knicks make a lot of sense because it's New York. And Kevin Durant with the Nets never felt right. Kevin Durant with the Knicks, the real New York team, feels right. Okay, the Heat, obviously, that Heat culture is dead. So if you get a Kevin Durant, you trade anyone to get him, not named Bam Adebayo. You have Bam and KD. Maybe you can replicate what Bam and Jimmy did, although technically they never won anything. I think the West is where he ends up.
Yeah.
I think it's the Rockets. I think the Rockets, you give up a Dylan Brooks, Reed Shepherd, draft picks, whatever. You get Kevin Durant in there. The one thing they were missing, particularly in the playoffs, was consistent scoring. Kevin Durant, even at this stage of his career, can give you that.
Yes.
He can give you a bucket.
Yes.
He is a leader, not in the traditional sense that we want to see, but he's been there, done that, can lead by example, great pro. I think the Rockets is the best fit. The next one's the Timberwolves. I mean, Anthony Edwards idolizes this guy. I think those two would work together. What do you give up? Rudy Gobert, DiVincenzo, draft picks. It's doable, but that's a team that was very close, George, to getting over the hump and being in the finals where we see the Thunder right now. They could be thinking we're a Kevin Durant away from that.
The one thing for him is that it puts him in the West. Much tougher path to the finals.
Sure.
But this is a guy that's never been afraid of the smoke. The East would make sense. The Knicks would make sense because, look, Jalen Brunson late in the game can get it. They, again, to your point, consistent buckets. And that would be a flip. Karl-Anthony Towns off the books over to Phoenix, reunites with Devin Booker. Perfect situation for Karl-Anthony Towns. Just go be a player. They don't care about winning there. Kevin Durant going to a contender.
Right.
But I always go back to the Rockets. Kevin Durant and Ime Udoka do have a relationship. The structure around him makes the most basketball sense as well. They can offload draft picks. They have a lot of young, good players, where it would be a good reset for the Suns themselves.
That's right.
I think Kevin Durant to the Rockets makes the most sense.
I do too.
But interesting, we could see him coming to the East. Again, the landscape of the NBA could look so different after this offseason. The guys the Celtics are moving and the guys that could be coming to the East.
That's right.
He's Travis Thomas. I'm George Balekji. This is Boston Has Entered the Chat. We'll see you guys same time, same place tomorrow on Nesson. Make sure to catch Hour 2, 9 to 10 a.m. on Nesson Nation as well, every Monday through Friday. That's where you can find us. 8 to 9 a.m. on Nesson, 9 to 10 a.m. on Nesson Nation. We'll see you guys over on Nesson Nation for Hour 2. See ya for now.